What's up YouTube? It's Matt, the furniture guy. Today I'm going to be doing my second furniture flip on this piece of crap dresser. Before we get going with this video, I want to give a quick shout out to That Shabby Guy. If anybody wants to get more involved in this community, hop into his Discord. It's really helpful and there's a lot of good furniture flippers that are willing to help. This dresser is actually the first piece of furniture that I've ever bought. I bought this on the marketplace for $50. When I bought this dresser, I had no idea what to look out for, so I kind of made a big mistake. The bottom of this dresser was completely trash, so it's going to need a new base, and the top is also water damaged, so it's going to have to be completely sanded down with wood filler. The trim along the top of the dresser is falling off, so I go ahead and nail in some finishing nails. I also go ahead and put some wood glue in there to make sure it's extra secure. One of the most important steps of flipping this furniture is making sure you clean it off really well. I go ahead and use this super clean degreaser to wipe off all the dust and grime off the piece. If we don't do this, we're going to risk having adhesion problems when we go ahead and paint. After cleaning, I go ahead and remove all the old hardware. You can see this laminate top has a lot of water damage and uneven spots. I toss on 80 grit sandpaper on my orbital sander and get going on the top. I'm going to be giving this dresser a modern look, so we're going to get rid of this old design. I go ahead and sand it down and then go ahead and wipe it off with this tack cloth. After that I grab this wood filler and scrape it into the holes. I also add wood filler to all the water damaged and uneven spots on the top. I give the rest of the dresser a quick scuff sand. I'm just roughening up the surface so the paint and primer adheres better. I sand down all the spots I added wood filler. If you enjoy furniture painting and remodeling, make sure you sub to my channel. Also, give this video a like as it will help me grow so much. It's now time to build the base. I have my dad show me how to use this hand circular saw, as I've never really used one by myself before. We kind of built this base on the fly, so I'm not going to really talk much and just let you enjoy this base. It's now time to add some primer before we paint. I go ahead and use this Kilt's all-purpose stain blocking primer. After I added the primer, I didn't like how some of the top looked. It was really rough and really was going to be noticeable under the paint. So I go ahead and grab this 120 grit sandpaper and sand it down by hand. After that, I grab some more of the wood filler and put it on. After adding another coat of primer, it's finally time to paint. I'm using this Benjamin Moore paint in white. Make sure your brush strokes go in one direction. That way the paint will end up with a much cleaner finish. After the first coat is all finished, I go ahead and sand it down lightly with a 200 grit sanding sponge. After that, I go ahead and apply a second coat of paint. Then, I go ahead and apply this gel stain on the top. I dab it onto this lint-free rag and wipe it on. This process didn't go as smoothly as planned, but it ends up with a decent finish. You're supposed to do this in sections as it can dry up really fast, and I kind of learned that the hard way. Make sure you're wiping from one end to another. As you can see, I started in the middle there, and it made it all smudgy and it kind of ruined it. I go ahead and try to add more, but this kind of just ruined it even more. I didn't like all the smudges that turned out in it, so I decided to apply another coat. I'm not quite sure you're supposed to do this, but I did it anyways, and it actually turned out quite nice. The bottom of the middle drawers were scraping the top of the bottom, so I decided to add some washers in top of these little razors here to raise and boost the middle drawers up. This actually worked perfectly, and they are no longer scraping. It's now time to add a top coat. I go ahead and give the top a quick spray before adding this poly by hand. I was scared by adding it by hand right away it would wipe off the gel stain. So I go ahead and give it a quick spray with that same Minwax poly and a can of spray paint. I end up doing 3 coats to this poly to really make sure we protect the top. And now the final step before we stage this piece. I go ahead and add my hardware, and we are finally done. And my second furniture flip is finally done. I learned a lot from doing this piece, and I don't regret getting this piece of crap at all. I think I'm going to toss this dresser on the marketplace for $300. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below.